This all started a month ago when I ran her credit and saw all these credit cards maximum out. The total was close to 24k. I confronted her and she admitted to have a spending problem and that she would try to change. I took a personal loan out at a much lower interest rate and paid off the debt. We have separate checking accounts and I thought that the new loan payment was enough for her to pay. Today she came to me to tell me that had taken out 30k loan against her 401k a couple of months ago to pay off another loan and that she has another credit card under her mom's name. I feel betrayed and hurt. I don't think I can trust her anymore. Just looking for some advice. I feel your pain. My ex-wife wiped out most of her 401k, used our savings as an ATM, had multiple CCs with balances not paid, overdrew our checking, and started bouncing checks. I won't comment on your marriage, but I'm not sure this behavior goes away. I don't know how you can protect yourself from this type of liability. Yeah, it sucks. The only good thing I got going is that we have separate checking accounts. I had a friend whose husband ran up 7k on a secret card, spending it mostly video games and going out, so there wasn't a lot of evidence of his spending. She found out about it and was pissed because it wiped out a big chunk of their savings, but she paid it off. Then he got 2 other secret cards and ran up 10k of debt. They are now divorced. That's what I'm afraid of. When I was young, I accrued credit card debt. It wasn't a massive amount, maybe 10k in today's terms, but being freshly out of college, it was massive enough for me. I felt trapped and embarrassed and tried to manage it, but it kept growing. My mom found out one day and she berated me. She wiped out my debt and refused to be paid back. My mom was divorced, barely making it with her retirement income, and I remember feeling incredibly shamed by the fact that she had to bail me out. I never accrued any kind of debt after that, and I'm 49. I never overextended myself again, and all my credit cards and loans are paid with excruciating punctuality to this day. You bailed your wife out and she went right back to spending money, which to me indicates a severe lack of respect and concern for you. I don't care what her reasons are. I don't care if she is addicted. Please don't do it again and sever all financial ties. She won't change and she will take you down with her. In her defense, she was just hiding the loan debt when I paid off her credit cards. It's financial abuse, and all that's going to happen is you're going to keep bailing her out, and or she's going to do something that puts you both in a world of trouble. My ex-husband was like this, and I got wiped out financially and basically had to start over at 40. I'd recommend couples counseling and working with a financial planner to come up with a plan if you want to stay together. Seems like she also needs some individual therapy. I'd insist that she put a freeze on her credit so she can't get any more cards, and consider turning over the finances to you, where all she has access to is a set amount a month. What is she spending on? She'll buy things we don't need at all just because it's on sale. Or if she goes out, she doesn't see money as an issue. She had a friend come stay with us for a couple of days. In those 4 days she spent over $1,000. I told my wife the first time she did this, a second occasion meant we would instantly be over. Kept my word. It wasn't some hard asterisk play behind it. The second time proved what I'd always worried about, that my wife simply could not manage money and would not let me do it for her. Not that I ever wanted to. One of us is now bankrupt. The other doing okay after paying off the divorce bill. The joy of not having to worry about money for the last 5 years has been amazing. You won't understand that whilst you're still hoping she can change. The daily stress of playing spending police to your spouse takes a slow poisonous toll on you, dude. You need to decide if this is the last time, or if the evasion, secrecy, burning through cash again means this will just happen again. On top of that, this type of financial incompetence is usually driven from a deep-rooted emotional issue, so unless you find that and fix it, the issue will never go away. I have been experiencing that joy for 4 years now. I had greatly underestimated toll being the financial police had taken on me. You should talk to a lawyer to figure out how this could affect you. You will be responsible for half of her debt. I think you should look into posting up and protect yourself financially ASAP. You should protect your 401k. Make sure her debt does not belong to you, and she is solely responsible for it. Her irresponsible decisions are going to affect your retirement, your credit, your mortgage, etc. After she signs a post-nup, you can decide if you give her a chance to treat her shopping addiction and get her finances in order, or if you just divorce. You should start by telling her to sell all the things she bought that she doesn't need. She should use that to pay for her loans or debt. She should stop spending. She should work on her credit score. Semicolon. She has another credit card under her mom's name. So she is ruining her mom's credit? You better run a credit check for you. No, he will not be responsible for her debt unless he has his name on the loan too. He said she took it out on her own. You can't. If you want to even think of staying with her, you need 1. Couples therapy, 2. Financial counseling, 3. Complete control of her finances, 4. A freeze on her credit, 5. Her to go through her stuff to sell to help pay off debt, 6. Consider her getting a second job to help pay it down, 7. A post-nup with her saying she'll take all the debt on her own if you divorce, and probably some other stuff I'm missing. Either you completely take over the money for both of you, which is scary and risky for her, and a ton of work for you, or she goes to therapy for her shopping addiction and lack of self-control, and deals with her own shit. You need to make sure none of her debt is in your name, and talk to a financial advisor about how to protect yourself. At best she figures it out and gets better, but a slip, which is normal, is going to keep hurting you and your family. Taking a card out in someone's name is such a breach of trust. Does her mom know? Why is she hurting her mom like this? Why is she abusing you like this? Personally, I'd do everything you can to make her get immediate help, and that includes apologizing and confessing to her mom for the card. You need to separate all finances, lock your own credit, and change your own passwords. She is incapable of not hurting you until she proves otherwise. Taking a card out in someone's name is such a breach of trust. It is a *crime**. She can go to jail for that shit. Sounds like a shopping addiction. As someone with one, this doesn't go away without some serious effort plus safeguards. I'd recommend r/shipping addiction, which is a pretty supportive community. Like any addiction, there's a lot of shame involved. Do you know what she's been spending the money on? Things that have helped me. Removing shopping apps from my phone, not allowing myself to browse. If I browse, I will buy. But you can't obsess over something if you don't know it exists. Not using Afterpay, Klarna or other services that allow me to pay in installments. Identifying the emotion I'm feeling when I get the urge to shop. For me it was basically every negative emotion: anxious, depressed, angry, bored. Once I could identify the emotions, I'd replace the activity of shopping with something else. Crafting, playing with my cats, etc. You gotta replace it with something, otherwise there will be a vacuum. That makes it incredibly easy to keep spending. Some people will even cut up their credit cards and only use cash to ensure more debt isn't incurred. I have not had to do that, but it could definitely be helpful if the addiction is this bad. Good luck, Opus. Finances are the leading reason for divorce for a reason. At a certain point, you just have to protect your future, because the person you married and loved will act to destroy it. Do you have a prenup? I think it's post-nup time. Protect your assets and your future. Talk to a lawyer. Being married in this scenario is actually a disadvantage, since this affects you in the end too. If she was a Liban GF, I would say watch from a distance and support her in getting help, but she is your wife and you are implicated. No prenup. We own a home, and I have a couple of bitcoins, that's about it. I don't think that's enough for a prenup. She is a spending addict. She needs therapy and medical help. She will not stop unless she gets help. This is the kind of thing that needs intensive support. Possibly rehab, 12-step, if it works for her, etc. If she refuses to get help, leave. Do not loan her more money. She will only spend it and accrue new debt. She is not capable of simply stopping. It's no different than a gambling addict. This happened to a relative of mine. They divorced and remained a couple. There is more to this, as I think you have to do other legal work like making an official declaration about how you are not responsible for future debts. She will likely get one half of your assets in the divorce. My ex-husband did this and more. He promised to change but never did, just got more into debt. Like your wife, he was bailed out by my mother, but then accumulated more secret debt at double the amount he had before. He just became better at hiding it. As other people have said, this is a behavior that's about much more than money. Know what you're getting into if you choose to stay. Wow, that's bad. Spending problem is the understatement of the year. She's spendaholic. It is good your wife admits to you and herself that she has a problem. My advice is not to underestimate the psychological component of this. I think you should get the book The Power of Habit and learn what are the contributing bad habits and correct them. Also, you need to start monitoring everything and then budgeting everything. Most banks will let you download all your card and bank transactions. In a study, people who weigh themselves twice a day vs once or never typically lose more weight. Your wife needs the financial equivalent. Don't start with saying what she can or cannot buy. Just get her to commit and follow through. That any time she spends money she must journal it. Buys a Kofi added to the Google Sheets. Just the mental effort of having to write down anything you buy when you buy it will move her in the right direction. After she is in the habit of measuring, you can start budgeting, and you can probably also find where the big bleeding is happening. Did she take out that credit card in her mom's name with permission? Yeah, her mom knows. She doesn't know about the massive debt though. What did she spend 55k on that you didn't notice? In any event, she needs a therapist to get to the bottom of it. She won't be able to stop herself in the long run. Money is so difficult, and none of us are really given any heads up before we are plummeted into the whole ordeal. Not to mention, there is so much shame associated with money. It's a value of success or failure in our societies, and it's so easy to feel like a failure if it's something you can't handle. It sounds like she didn't want to confess to everything she'd done wrong initially until she had to. I feel like the first approach, if you don't want to immediately leave her, which is such a Reddit approach, is to sit down with her and you make an honest, no bullshit, everything on the table assessment of where she's at. After that, you get her to call debt companies, loan repayment people, anyone that can help her consolidate the issues that she has and pay them back at a reasonable rate per month. You should tell her that under no circumstances will any other undiscussed debt or money issues be tolerated. We change now, or that's it. She's probably been terrified of being found out for a long time, hence taking out the loan on her 401k. Maybe this is a for better or worse moment, but it's up to you. I wouldn't blame you for cutting ties. At this point, if your credit and debts are separate, I'd ponder if this is something she shouldn't have to fix herself. If you have not separated your credit yet, I'd look into it. What is she agreeing to do about her spending? Do you own a home together? Yes, we own a home together. So far she has stopped spending. There is no easy answer here. I think you realistically have two choices. 1. Divorce her. She has lied to you and hid things from you for years. This is not okay. Can you ever trust her again? Bottom line is, once trust is gone, the relationship is doomed. 2. Insist on taking over all financials and that you monitor her credit through Credit Karma daily. If she ever changes the password without sharing it with you, then you will divorce her. Then basically you deal with all financials period and buy everything needed for the family. I'm a woman and would never suggest something like this in normal circumstances. But your wife is an addict. So she needs help, and this is one of the only ways to help her and potentially save your relationship. Which of course also means counseling is needed for both of you as well. I see folks mentioning financial abuse, but my first thought wasn't that was she doing anything intentionally with malice. I'm wondering if she may have a shopping addiction. Much like people use drugs or alcohol to cope with trauma, people can use shopping as their vice. She's showing all the classic signs of addiction. Unable to control herself, hiding her addiction, showing guilt when caught. Does she have an unresolved trauma you know, or possibly don't know, about? If so, I highly recommend that she seek help. SAMHSA.gov has a helpline that could point her in the right direction for local resources to help her work through this. Even if it's not abuse, it's financial infidelity. My husband used to financially rape us all the time. No amount of talking about it stopped the behavior. Finally, I filed for divorce. He was then willing to get counseling and stop screwing over our entire family financially. We have stayed together, but I'm a serious B** about finances. That's what bothers me the most. We have 3 children and this will set us back for some time. Financial infidelity can be a tough thing to get through, and no one would blame you for leaving, as with any other infidelity. FYI, it is illegal to run someone's credit without their consent. /_/ Financial infidelity, a killer. Run.